Hey everyone, this is Rich with Fast Reviews, and I am reviewing the Yamaha TSR-700. This is a special deal. You can get it for roughly about $300 to $400 at Costco. This is actually a pretty nice entertainment unit because you have the ability to do 7.1. You've got Dolby Atmos. I'm going to read you some of the specs here. It's got all of your favorite stuff such as Apple AirPlay. It's got Wi-Fi. And the nice thing is that it actually outputs to the TV so you can see what's going on. It also has Spotify, Pandora, Napster, if you know who's still around. And it's got Bluetooth, Amazon Music, and Scene, Dolby Vision, MusicCast, Cinema DSP 3D, Tidal, Deezer, and Sirius XM. So this is one of the full-featured units, and the reason I got it is because you can do 8K, except it is a software upgradable 8K. That means that the hardware supports 8K, but what that means is that you have HDMI 2.1, which basically a lot of receivers don't. They have 1.2, 1.4. So HDMI 2.1 has the bandwidth to support 8K, 24, 25, 30, 50, or 60 frames per second. That is a lot of bandwidth. You will of course need HDMI cables. So that's why I bought it. It does act as a switch for HDMI, so you have the ability to go 7 inputs and 1 output. It's got Dolby Atmos, which is the standard for Dolby right now. That's pretty much it. So I'll put a link in the description below. If the Costco deal is done, then I'll put a link in the description below where you can get one of these. I'm going to read you some of the specs. So the MSRP on this is $5.99. It does have a cool feature, which is a microphone feature. That means that it can detect the speaker levels that you need and adjust it accordingly. It also has the traditional phone input, so if you happen to have a record player, which I'm sure no one does, it has the Dolby Atmos height virtualization, so you can emulate if you're in a theater, etc. Now for the DTS side, it has DTS.X. This is the latest standard. It supports Cinema DSP 3D. It has the compressed music enhancer. It does support HDR and HDR10, 10 plus, so that basically means that you're going to have high dynamic range. This camera, for example, is recording in HDR, and this camera is not recording in HDR. So you can see a lot more of the colors in my shirt. It does support 4K 120 Hertz. Now it does have a USB input, so you'll be able to upgrade it by simply plugging in a USB, downloading the firmware, and it also provides a AV setup feature. Now you can download the app. To be honest, the app is kind of crappy. It's called the MusicCast app, and it syncs up and allows you to set it up through your phone. It also supports Alexa, Siri, and Google Assistant through voice control. It supports, the system is called YPAO. Kenwood and Harman Kardon have the equivalent, which is basically a microphone that you take and put in the center of the room, and it'll automatically adjust to the right settings. And then lastly, it has a scene button, which means that you can have different scene settings. So if you want to emulate you're in a concert hall, you can do that. Okay, so let's get started and get this guy open. Alright, so the first thing I see is this receiver. This looks like a Samsung type of remote, old style Samsung type of remote. It's got a scene, it's got the play button, it's got enter. It pretty much looks like a TV remote here. You can store, I guess, 4 scenes, and you can change the input to USB, network, Bluetooth, or party mode. And keep in mind, I haven't bought a receiver in quite a long time, so this is actually a big upgrade. My last receiver was a Dolby Digital 5.1 receiver, so since then things have gotten a little interesting. This looks like an infrared type of adapter that plugs into an earphone style jack. Alright, got the product registration card. It is actually similar to the RX V6A. You can see here that it actually says RX V6A. So it is universal instructions. Ooh, actually I'm incorrect. This could actually be the sensor that listens to balance out the sound. So you put that in the center of the room and it's going to balance out the sound for you. And you've got some presence speakers. So you've got surround left, surround right. You've got a center speaker. presence. And cool thing, I haven't seen this, of course. Basically, the setup instructions are going to be on the TV, so it's kind of nice. And by the way, I did, on this house expansion project, I did get some really inexpensive speakers. It actually came in a pair of 6. So if you're interested, I'm going to put a link in the description below. It was literally only $150 to $180. Let's see, some safety brochures. We don't need that. Spotify Premium advertisement. This one has Spotify Connect built in. So you'll still need a subscription. That's it for the instruction manuals. We have what I haven't seen in a long time. We have an FM antenna. The FM antenna has a built-in wire. And then here we have a coaxial style antenna, which probably is the AM, I'm guessing. Okay, we've got 2 AAA batteries, so don't miss out on them because they were hidden on the side. Let's go ahead and open them. The remote doesn't have any visible lights, so keep that in mind. I am also not sure if it's RF or infrared. Comes with the Wi-Fi plugged in. Alright, here it is, guys. This is the receiver. So you'll notice it's got very minimal buttons. It seems to have a nice slick interface. It's got a metal casing. It's got a phone jack, i.e. headphones or earphones, or microphone. It's got a power button. It's got scenes. Okay, so here we go. So we do have a lot of HDMI input jacks. You can see here we've got actually seven input jacks, 1 HDMI out, optical audio 1, coaxial audio 2. That means that it must be getting the HDMI signal, and it must be actually getting the signal from the HDMI jacks or in combination with the TV, which is number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you got 9 total jacks here. You got the present speakers, the surround back, and the front, and the regular surround. This is where you're going to plug in the FM jack, and the other one is the AM jack right there. You've got a network cable, which I haven't seen in a while, for net radio, so kind of cool. And you've actually got 2 Wi-Fi antennas on here for connecting to the Wi-Fi. So pretty much it. Definitely lighter than the receivers I've owned before. Feels like it's about 30 or 40 pounds. So let's get started. So now we're just going to power this on. Power on main. HDMI street. HDMI 1 street. And then we've got our YPAO, which is our sensor here, so we're going to plug that in and do the test. Guys, so to save you some of the boring parts, I already did the wiring. I got 2 subwoofer pre-outs here. I've got an extra set of speakers, which I did not think to actually add, but this basically supports a speaker set called Presence Zone 2, and then of course I got the HDMI. Now keep in mind, you have to buy an 8K cable, because if you don't, you're not going to get 8K. I've got my surround connected, I got my left, right, and I got my center all connected. I wish I had an extra plug for this guy, but it is what it is. So there you go. I'll put the Wi-Fi pointed up. And let me show you my setup. So in this room we have a setup of 2 wires close to where the audience is, some front speakers, and then that's it. And then you've got the front speaker there and a center speaker there. So the subwoofer pre-out comes out through there and it's going to reside probably there somewhere. Now we're looking at the TV interface for the receiver. It is fairly responsive. The only problem is it just feels like it is an old, obsolete interface. So the remote's responsive, but it's just we need to do a firmware update, because I'm hoping that they'll have a lot more features. I guess we will try it through the app. So here's a little tip. So I have the pass-through running for the Xbox, the Yamaha receiver. It is going to show 4K TV details here. Now make sure that you're using the latest cables that supports HDMI 2.1. here is some quick tips here. You're going to want to turn on HDMI Ultra HD Deep Color settings. Okay, so to do that, you're going to go to Picture, Additional Settings, then HDMI Ultra HD Deep Color, and then it's going to tell you what the possible resolutions are, 8K, 4K, etc. So just for fun, let's just put this back to 4K. So it looks like it doesn't work at 4K. So the Yamaha receiver, of course, can upscale supposedly to 8K. So let's go ahead and change this back. We're going to go back to our general settings, and then we're going to turn on picture mode settings. Advanced, sorry. Picture mode settings, additional settings, and then 8K for the HDMI one. Okay, so a simple reset allows us to go back to the menu, and we still don't have 4K 120 Hertz, but the TV does support 4K. So make sure if you need a converter box that you have it. In the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and look at the video overscan, and I'm going to calibrate the TV for HDR as well. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and load the app and see. This is called the AV Selector app. There it is. So I found it on the network. It wants me to download the MusicCast controller app. Hopefully this will have a firmware update. We will see in a second. Okay, so we've now got the MusicCast app. Let's set this up. That it requires the actual push of a connect button. There are actually no connect buttons on this. Interestingly enough, there's also no ability to select MusicCast. It does find the receiver, but it's just not letting me control it. Alright guys, that's it. That is the review of the Yamaha TSR-700. Again, the goods is that you have so many speakers, you can actually connect a lot of speakers using the presence channel, or if you like, you can go to the multi-room configuration, so you can actually power 2 rooms from this receiver. Number 2 is the ability to automatically sense and adjust the volume, so with the YPAO microphone. Number 3 is the support for HDMI 8K, and as you saw, it also enhances the signal from the Xbox to the TV. So my Xbox wasn't quite getting the 4K data connection, and it was able to enhance it. And then the other thing just in general is I like that all of the connection points are pretty well organized. So I'm able to connect the TV to the receiver, and then I can then connect the devices to the receiver directly. Now that may not be a big deal, but if you have the receiver in a cabinet, then it is a big deal, because then you'll have a nice clean look. Now the last thing I'll mention is that the TV, at least the LG TV, seems to be able to control this with my setup, which is DirecTV, so I can control the volume up and down, and then when I shut the TV, the receiver also shuts off. So fairly nice. And the other thing that was really cool is that it actually found that one of the speakers had an inverted polarity. So I ordered a test kit, and I'll do a little video review of that one in my next review. That's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the future.